All right, here we are on the next video. Before you get started on this video, please make sure that you have completed page 15 in your packet. If you haven't yet, please stop the video and go back and finish it. Use the book, use the link on Schoology as needed to use the right pages so that you can complete that assignment. Make sure you've gotten the stamp on your score sheet for completing page 15 as well. All right, if you're all ready to go, if you've got those stamps, then we are ready to move back on to page 5 and the notes that are on page 5. All right, where we left off is we had just defined ecosystem and the difference between biotic and abiotic factors. So now picking up right where we left off, we're going to talk about some key terminology in ecology, starting with the word habitat. We use the word habitat to name the things that organisms need to survive. Now, we often easily think of food and water as something needed for survival, but this also includes shelter and space. All right, shelter and space are also really important, and they're part of what makes up the habitat for a living thing. The next term is pronounced niche. So it's not pronounced niche, it's pronounced niche. And this is an organism's job description in the ecosystem. Now, when I use that word job description or that term, you'll notice, of course, that it's in quotes, job description. And that's because, of course, we're not talking about like a job where they go collect a paycheck or something. But we're talking about what role do they play in the ecosystem. A tree's niche would be that they are producers. They make oxygen that helps the animals survive. They provide shelter and shade for things. Their roots help hold the soil in place. All of these things would be part of a tree's niche. It's describing why they're important to the ecosystem. The next term is community. And community is all of the organisms living in a common space. And community is going to be all types of different things. Okay, so it's not going to only be one kind of thing. So, for instance, if we're looking here at this meadow and we were talking about the community that's here, we'd be looking at there's lots of different kinds of plants and there's animals, there's bugs, there's all sorts of things there that are living together. Lots of different kinds of things in a common space. Okay, now a population, that's our next term. A population is a group of living organisms of the same kind in the same place at the same time. All right, so a population is going to be just one kind of living thing. All right, so a community is lots of different kinds of living things that are all in one place. A population is just one single type of living thing. Okay, so these are 4 key terms that we use in ecology a lot to talk about the living things in an ecosystem. Here you can see, again, we're looking at this community here, this prairie community. Now, if I look at just one kind of living thing, that would be a population. Like these kinds of flowers are called black-eyed Susans. And this would be a population of black-eyed Susans. Okay. One last thing we're going to add today is about something called limiting factors. All right, what limiting factors are is we're talking about abiotic or biotic factors that limit a population's success and survival. So this might be when you have too little or too much of something, like for instance, too much water or not enough water. And how that might limit the ability of some things to survive in the ecosystem. Or maybe it's the amount of food available would be a limiting factor. If there's not enough food to provide for all of the organisms in the ecosystem, that is a limiting factor. It is limiting their ability to survive and succeed in the ecosystem. Other examples, temperatures are really typical example here with this. There are some organisms that can survive very well in very hot temperatures, where other organisms may be limited in their ability to survive in that kind of environment. All right. So we're going to go ahead right now and you can take a highlighter out of your green basket and let's do the highlighting on this page. Some key vocabulary here. I'm just noticing that my notes say biosphere and yours don't, so don't worry about that. Just don't worry about it. Skip over that biosphere one. All right. And I'd like you to write your 3 questions and then move right on to writing a summary. There's some instructions for the summary here. You're going to do a keyword summary, so make sure you read those instructions carefully and follow them. Pause the video right now until you are done with the highlighting, questions, and summary. All right, double check you've got everything done on this page. All right, and if everything looks good for pages 4 and 5, please go get your stamp for pages 4 and 5 from the teacher.